Alright, we're going to start the second page with a couple of your turns. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video now and try these two questions on your own to see how you do. Alright, let's look at the first question, number 3. Paige mows 1/6 of an acre in 1/4 hour. How many acres does does Paige mow per hour? Alright, so the first thing we need to do is determine our units. So I know I'm going to have acres over hours. Okay, and my acres are represented by 1/6 acre per every 1/4 hour. Okay, well, how do I get change the denominator to 1? I divide by 1/4. So I have to divide by 1/4. Okay, 1/4 divided by 1/4 is 1. 1/6 divided by 1/4 is 1/6 times 4 over 1, which equals 4/6 over 1. Well, that fraction is not in simplest form, so I need to divide by 2, and I get 2/3 over 1. So how many acres does Paige mow per hour? 2/3 of an acre per hour, just like that. Alright, let's take a look at what you did for number 4. Greta uses 3 ounces of pasta to make 3/4 of a serving of pasta. How many ounces of pasta are there per serving? Okay, well, the first thing I need to do is decide what my units are. I'm going to have ounces per serving. Okay, and my ounces are 3 per 3/4 serving. Well, I need to change the denominator to 1, so I have to divide by 3/4. That's going to equal 1 in the denominator, and 3 divided by 3/4 is actually 3 over 1 times 4/3. We don't divide, we multiply by the reciprocal. And that, remember here, I can go ahead and simplify. Those two 3's cancel each other out and make 1's. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1. And I end up with 4 over 1, which is the same as 4 per 1. So I have 4 ounces per serving. And that's it. Alright, let's move on to using unit rates. You can use unit rates to simplify rates that appear complicated, such as those containing fractions in both the numerator and denominator. So this is more of what we did. We're just going to be adding in a comparison. So 2 pools are leaking. After 15 minutes, pool A has leaked 2/3 gallon. After 20 minutes, pool B has leaked 3/4 gallon. Which pool is leaking faster? Okay. We're going to look at these and we're going to have to compare and see which pool is leaking faster. So the first thing we need to do is convert the time. It wants us to find the rate in volume, gallons, per time in hours. So my unit rate is gallons per hour. So in order to do that, I look up here and they have minutes. They're looking at after 15 minutes and after 20 minutes. Well, I'm going to have to decide what part of an hour is 15 minutes. So if I have 60 minutes for every 1 hour, that's going to be equal to 15 minutes is equal to how many hours? I have minutes over hours. Okay, well, in order to do that, what did you do to 60 to get to 15? Or you can look at what do you do to 15 to get to 60, either way. So 60 divided by 4 equals 15. 1 divided by 4 equals 1/4. So for 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour. And let's do the same thing for 20 minutes. So I have 60 minutes is 1 hour. So 20 minutes is going to equal X amount of hours. What did I do to 60 to get to 20? I divide it by 3. So I take 1 and divide it by 3, and that turns into 1/3 hour. So now we have our times, and now we need to find the unit rates and rewrite the fractions. So I'm going to do pool A first. And I'm doing gallons per hour. And I have, what did it say for pool A? 2/3 gallon per every 15 minutes. So my 15 minutes is my 1/4 hour. Now I have to divide by 1/4, divide by 1/4, which equals 2/3 times 4/1, and 1/4 divided by 1/4 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3, so 8/3 per every 1 hour. Well, we don't want to leave this as an improper fraction, so I need to say 3 goes into 8 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6, and 2/3 left. So 2 2/3 gallon per hour. Okay, let's look at the second pool, pool B. I'm kind of combining step 2 and 3 here for pool A and now pool B. So pool B is 3/4 of a gallon. Let's do our rates, gallon per hour. 3/4 of a gallon per every 1/3 hour. Okay, well, in order to change the denominator to 1, I have to take 1/3 and divide by 1/3. So I have to do the same thing to the top. And I don't divide my fractions, I multiply by the reciprocals, so 3/4 times 3/1, and 1/3 divided by 1/3 is 1. That's going to equal 9/4 over 1. Well, again, I have an improper fraction here, so how many times does 4 go into 9? 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8, with 1/4 left over per hour. So now I need to look at my two mixed numbers here. I have pool A is 2 2/3, and pool B is 2 1/4. And since I'm comparing both of them per hour, I can look and compare these instead of comparing them at 2 different sets a minute. It makes more sense. So if I look at here, what's bigger, 2 2/3 or 2 1/4? Well, I know 2 2/3 is actually 2.6 repeating, and 2 1/4 is 2.25. Which one of those is bigger? Pool A, so which one is leaking faster? Pool A leaks faster. Okay, go ahead and press pause, and you are going to try number 5 on your own, working through all of those steps just like we did for example 2. Press pause and go ahead and do your turn. Okay, so we want to look and we want to find out one tank is filling at a rate of 3/4 gallon per 2/3 minute, and a second tank is filling at a rate of 5/8 gallon per every half a minute. So my rate here is gallons per minute. And I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, okay, for the first tank, tank A, I have 3/4 of a gallon per 2/3 of a minute. Okay, I want to change my unit rate to 1, so I have to divide by 2/3. That makes 1. Do the same thing to the top. Well, I don't divide by divide fractions. I always multiply by the reciprocal. So I get 9 over 8, 9/8 per every 1 minute, I need to change that to a mixed number, so 8 goes into 9 one whole time with 1/8 left. So it fills at 1 1/8 gallons per minute. This is tank A. Now let's do tank B. It goes at a rate of 5/8 gallon per every 1/2 minute. So these are my gallons. Those are my minutes. Again, I want this to be equal to 1, so I have to divide by 1/2. Divide by 1/2. I don't ever divide by 1/2. I always multiply by the reciprocal. I can simplify before I multiply here. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 8 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4 over 1 minute. Again, improper fraction. 4 goes into 5 one time with 1/4 left per 1 minute. So here are my two tanks. A is 1 1/8 gallon versus tank B, which is 1 1/4 gallon. Well, which one is larger? Which one is filling faster? 1 1/4